Yes. This is Dial Settle, the most handsome, yakable, Africanicious, adrenaline pumping, epize power husband. And today I've decided to just give you this cool music that I've been enjoying all the way throughout the week. So, how are we all doing? If you are joining the live stream this evening, I just want to apologize for starting an hour late. And as such, I will be waiting for us to just start us up in the comment section to know that we are well set to go into the discussion of tonight. Because the discussion of tonight is something highly practical. I tell you, is what we are seeing that is playing out, and a lot are still not identifying the fact that there has been a lot of deception when it comes to education, and almost everybody knows how to define education, but not everybody knows what education really should be in their community. And there has been a lot of mismanagement of information that is used as educating the mind of some persons to think lesser than themselves. And that is where the continent of Africa, so many other persons need to come up and start thinking aright. Wow. Okay, the first person I have today is Redmond Music. Thank you very much. It's nice having you, Redmond. How I wish one of these days Redmond Music will just come and you will just come live with us. And that is why, if possible, I'm sending you the link to join us live on this discussion because it's really an interesting one. So, Redmond Music, if it's possible for you to join us live, this is the link just below so that we can have a proper discussion. If not, we can still continue to have our chat on the chat place here. So, I know a lot of persons would have been wondering what about this topic? What is the reason? Why is the reason that Mr. Setru is bringing up the topic about education? Hmm, the irony. There is a lot of irony playing out in the world today, and the funniest stuff is that people are not even allowed to talk about it. Let me just work on something. I think the light behind me, this light, is somehow working, is somehow casting shadows that I really do not want. Let me just change it out. Okay. I think with that being out of the way, I think I'm a little bit cool with what I'm saying so far. So as we welcome, okay, I think Redmond Music is saying something. Thank you, brother, but I can't join right now. No problem, I understand. So, at least you are here. I'll be. Let me start with this. What do we think education should be? Because you don't just need to just jump into the discussion without understanding the nitty gritty, the background of what we are actually looking at. What is education to you? So, Redmond Music, what do you feel is education in your own way? If you really want to define education to a layman, how would you describe? How would you define education? Because once we understand this, then we can have a solid foundation to build on and now go into what we call the fish irony. A lot of questions are bubbling around my mind tonight, and as such, I just want to tamper justice with mercy. Is that what they call it? The irony of deceptive education is what we are actually looking at today. When you talk about the irony of deceptive education, I tell you, it's all across the globe. This one is not attributed to a specific color, a specific race, a specific species of human being. No, there one way or the other, people are being re-educated to believe something else. People are being re-educated to start thinking and start having a thought pattern that I don't know how to call it, some very, very obnoxious patterns, some patterns that are incomprehensible, some pattern that gives you walking a 10-meter uh, distance for a 10 million miles, you know. You know, there are some system of education that we have seen across the globe now, and is almost not being noticed, is not being known, but it's going a long way to re-educate our mind and start making us to follow a pattern by some selected few, for some selected few, to benefit the selected few. So that's where the world is here presently. And the reason why we are doing this live stream is to sit down and begin to bring them one by one and to just analyze, okay, if this is actually an irony that is being used to play us like a game of cards into certain pattern of behavior that will not even benefit us, but will be benefiting some local few. Let me just call it local few. Then you need to think right. So if you are joining us, we want you to give this video a thumbs up, and we want to see you at the comment section. It's nice listening to this song. Just enjoy this music while I take my breath, or I catch my breath. Anyone pick the one that is the best of English. English is not my expression. If I speak my African language, almost no one here will understand. Okay. And I think I'm waiting for, I hope I can still meet up with I think our time can still be good to have our brother in the house, Jim. How we can still be able to host Jim tonight. So we are waiting for you, Jim. And there is a particular subscriber and a follower that whenever we are online like this on screen, he loves to send WhatsApp chat. And that is why I came in prepared today. I'm having my WhatsApp line open because she usually has some very powerful contributions to make, and she loves doing that on WhatsApp. So I don't want to miss anything. So I really do not want to miss anything. Okay, and let me just take this time out to do a shout out. There is something that is coming up very, very soon. So all of you, our subscribers, we are having a series that will be coming up shortly, very shortly. It's going to be an interesting series that is going to be using law terms and the likes from one of the Spectros family. You know, it's a series that will blow your mind up. We are working on it, and soon as you are going to have it, it's going to be a very, very interesting series that can be very useful for family settings to enjoy and pick up some interesting points there. It's filled with laughter, with fun, and it shares its message. And okay, there's something we also want to let us know. I received a chat today, which is part of what we're going to be discussing. I received a chat today from one of the little boys that we met on the streets of Lagos, and we decided to impact his life positively by training him in photography. Let somebody say, yeah. So we pick up this little guy on the streets of Lagos. He was at the point that we met with him. He was going through turbulent time, and he was such a small boy. I think he should be around 15 years of age. At around that age, he's already going through a lot from a broken home, and he was just looking disappointed and dejected. So my wife walked up to him and asked him, "What do you like to learn?" Immediately he mentioned that he would have loved to do photography. And the Cetros Foundation, which most of us are conversant with, we picked up this young guy and we sent him to a photography school where we paid, I think, about 150,000 naira. But as of today, I tell you, the guy is advancing in photography. So watch out for a full review, a full video about him. But let me just show you one of his works that he sent in, and I was dumbfounded. I was dumbfounded when I saw what this young man was doing. What is that his name again? I think he's Michael. Okay. I think his name is Mike. Okay. As we continue in this discussion, I will just look up. I'll call up the photos that he took. He took those pictures and he sent it in. According to him, he said they are still in raw file. So I was wondering if a boy like that, under 6 months, he has been moved from just being someone dejected, someone in someone in secondary school here. Maybe I think secondary school over there is called high school. Someone that is in his final in the secondary school here, and presently has not even finished high school. He's already becoming a well-noted photographer in the making. So I will share his picture with us, and I want to tell you, it's so interesting to see life being transformed this way. So, my people, I'm waiting for you. What do you think education is? How do you define education? In Africa, we call it education, but abroad, you think I said it's edu. Okay, we go with the last speaker. So, how do you define the word education? How do you define it in your own words? What is education to you? So, how would you define education? Oh, Benjamin on. Lovely, nice having you, Benjamin. Hello from Oregon, my brother. I was out with health issue. Wow, but I'm back. God's love works. Wow. I pray from the bottom of my heart that the love of God will continue to bring you more health, more stability, advancement, and you will not know any challenge that will stress you out in Jesus' name. That's my personal prayer. So if you don't believe in Jesus, anybody that doesn't believe in Jesus, I will only say what I believe in, and you have the right to say what you believe in too. So, but I'm a follower of Christ, and I just pray for my brother Benjamin Hunt. So it's nice having you, Benjamin Hunt. It wouldn't be a bad idea for you to come on live if it's possible for you to join us live. I will just send you our invite. Oh, Benjamin Hunt says thank you. Wow, thank you so very much. I'm so glad to hear that. Oh, Redmond Music said amen. Wow, Redmond, love you. So, for those that want to join us live, you can join us through this link here. This link that I just displayed here from the chat room. You can just click to join. So, but whether people are joining physically or via the chat room, Benjamin Hunt, this question is for you. How would you define education? What is education to you? I want somebody to define education before I move further in the story of today, because we have a whole lot to talk about today with respect to what we are looking at, which happens to be the irony of deceptive education. The irony of deceptive education. A lot of ironies in the world now, to the extent that you can just be filled with so many questions. Even when people say good morning, you might be tempted to check outside to be sure that it's actually not midnight. Because people now talk on the reverse. When they say everything is fine, just know that there is chaos. So most of the time you need awareness. You need even God to confirm to you people that are actually saying the right thing the right way. So, with that being said, I happen to have my own definition of education, but I want people to come up with their own definition of education. But to me, education, because of time, education is what? Okay, somebody is giving us. Oh, let's clap for Regmo music. Yeah, education is passing on the wisdom and knowledge from the previous generation to the next. Passing on. Passing on. Regmo music. I want us to check that your definition. It's a very good definition. Passing on. At least somebody was already using those levels of information and knowledge and is now passing it on. Okay, because of that ability to pass it on. Okay, do we call it education? Yes, it's still is education, is within the context of definition of education. But there is something in that passing on that I want us to stress. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, let's look for who will include that. Oh, Redmond says, sorry, can't stream right away. Now, my daughter just came over to see me. Wow. Please greet your daughter for us. Tell her that all the way from Africa, we are sending her this song. I want her to enjoy this song. This is for Benjamin Hunt's daughter, especially for you. Oh, we have someone in the house. We have someone in the house, and I want to believe that it's not the friend because today that's Dr. Ojo. Dr. Ojo, is nice seeing you. Dr. Ojo happens to be an outstanding doctor of business administration, and he presently is working with the U.S. military formation. Okay, he's in the U.S. Army. Dr. Ojo, education is a lifelong learning process. Okay, let me reduce this. Education is a lifelong learning process, which includes receiving, okay, or giving instructions, okay, to someone, okay, in a formal system of education. In a formal system of education is received or given in a systematic manner over a period. Dr. Ojo, I love your definition, but I want to challenge you that I disagree. I disagree with the last line that education is a formal system of education is received. Okay, in a formal system. Okay, I think I got you now. In a formal system, education is received or given in a systematic manner. Okay, I think I got you now because let me tell you, the little I know about education can be formal, informal, can be spoken, signs, can be passed on and received, but there's something that we are all looking for. Who can help us out? Dr. Ojo has still not mentioned that particular thing that we are looking for. There is a strand in the definition of education that we are looking for. And that strand in that definition is actually what has been the problem of the world today. It has been, okay. Regmo Music says, maybe impartation of wisdom and knowledge will be more accurate. Wow. Impartation of wisdom and knowledge. Wow. Impartation. Hey, it's like somebody just, has just imparting the knowledge into one. Wow, it's good. But you know that, let me be giving us clue to where I'm going to. When you impart, you are taking from somewhere and depositing somewhere. But it's almost there, but something is still missing. What does your impartation? I'm giving you guys expo now. What does your impartation do afterwards? Because The actual word of this impartation is the most critical, vital point that we are missing. And that is what some little few are playing us all on as a game. So, who will give us that right phrase? That right phrase. There is a particular phrase that is missing, a particular line that is missing in all these definitions. Because once we get it, then we can fly into our discussion today. Okay, let me give you a little bit of expo. Just look at. I mentioned the case of this young man. Michael was his name, or is his name. Michael happened to be someone that we met on the streets of Lagos. We don't know him from anywhere. My wife saw him at the market. The young boy, about 15 years old or lesser, about 15, 16 or lesser, was just standing aloof, as in was just looking dejected, was looking unhappy. My wife left and he decided to go back to ask this young man, what is the challenge? Only to discover that the young boy is going through a whole lot. Separated parents are not staying together, divorced, single parents, and like trying to, at that young age, though he's still in the secondary school or what you guys call high school, spending for himself, he's trying to walk somewhere under the sun there. And when my wife met with him, my wife asked him the single question: what will you like to do? What would you like to learn as craft? At the end of the day, he mentioned photography. We sent him under 6 months. The boy that was dejected. I want you to follow this. Somebody is trying to get what the word I'm looking for. Okay, let's see whether you get it. Education is a way of instructing others to believe our ideology or be influenced by what we believe. That's why this uncle is a doctor. He's getting it. He's almost 99.9% of the exact phrase I'm looking for. Because when you say instructing others is good, to believe, to believe, is becoming an action there. Our ideology and be influenced by what that word influence. There is a particular word I'm looking for. I wish Madam Olaumi will just send her own definition of education on WhatsApp so that I can read it out to you, because I know she's very vast. She spends time doing a lot of research. Doctor, you are very, very close. So, Doctor, I'm going to be sending you an invite to join us live. So, I'm sending this invite to everyone that wants to join us live. Doctor, so you have the invite. Now, good. Now, you guys are talking about education, but there is something that is still missing. A particular phrase of what? Once we get that word out, I tell you, our discussion this night is going to be made easier to understand, easier to comprehend. Because what we are calling education, we might end up to discover that is actually not education to our benefit. It's rather not education to our benefit, but the benefits of some selected few that are the cowboys of the world. Because in this world, we have some cowboys, and they are looking for people to remote into their thought pattern. I'm always giving us the expo about this education. I want that word out. Back to the story. within 6 months, the boy that was dejected under the sun is now a photographer. And when I saw his pictures, I was dazed. I was dazed because I'm trying to bring out this picture. I was dazed because the picture is a good sign that the money we spent as a foundation on this boy wasn't wasted. And life is really, really actually beautiful. Life is really beautiful. Okay, since okay, doctor, do you want to try more? Does anybody still want to try on the definition of education before we go? This is the last time I'm going to give someone to try before we go into our topic today, which is the irony of deceptive education. So, while I wait, enjoy this jazz and let someone tell us the meaning of education. What you understand by the word education. So I'm still waiting for more people to drop in their own definition of education, while I continue to bring out the work of this young boy, the young photographer. So astounding. Okay, wow. Please, if you are joining this stream, give us thumbs up and share the video so that more people can know that we are actually on now. So let's look at the comment section. Somebody just, oh, Redmond Music. Does the young man have a web page as Cetro's vlog? Okay. What actually happened is that since we are still training them, what we do is that we train them also on how to set up their own business name or their studio name or their craft name. So we are in the process of doing that. We are still mentoring them and the likes, but I just want to show us what the young boy is doing now. So everything about their work is still under our purview. So we work on them and make sure that okay, let me share my screen. I think that will solve the question. So let us go and see how the young man is doing. Okay, so I just had to stop the music. You can imagine this is the work of this young boy. I hope you can see it. And please mind you, these are raw pictures, not yet edited. These are raw picture. A boy that we saw on the streets of Lagos in the sun that was dejected. But because we introduced another type of education that is needed, not the one that is not needed, that has been the problem of Africa and so many other countries. See what the guy is producing. This boy is just about 15. I think he's about 15 to 16 years old. I don't think he's up to 16 years. So these are the beautiful masterpiece of what is his name is Michael. His name is Michael. So see what is sent. See the concept. See the concept of introducing the leaf, the leaf into the picture, just to do a kind of color contrast. And I'm a professional photographer and videographer. I know when something is right. Okay, let's go back to. Oh, Regnon said, excellent. Wow, thanks for appreciating that. Thanks for appreciating the work of our little brother there. Now, that means we introduce something that could be called education to this young boy. If at 15, he's already creating this, he's already creating something like this, a secondary school boy, what do you think will happen to his life if we had another 10 years? Then it will be like 25. What kind of pictures do you think he'll be taking? And this is a young boy that I will be very, very happy to groom. I'll personally groom him, even into videography. So what are we talking about? So let's welcome Doctor to the house.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So let's welcome Doctor. It's nice having Dr. Ujo here, our prolific doctor.
Thank you,
okay,
guys.
Yes, see what Redmond is saying. Nice use of shadow and the light. Wow, that's just it. Nice use of shadow and the light. Now, Dr. Ujo, over to our definition of education. You've said what I want to say in another word, but there is a particular word that I'm looking for. And I got that definition during my university days. Education is actually the transfer of knowledge, information from one generation to the other, either through formal or informal setting, which leads to the change of character.
Yeah.
Which leads to the change of behavior. Whenever anything that we call education doesn't end up changing the behavior of the recipient, it is not education. And once we understand the fact that education will alter something in our DNA of character. Oh, Redmond is clapping. Redmond is welcoming you. Oh, Redmond said very good. Okay. Now, the change of character is the main factor in education. Whether we like it or not, once change of character is missing, we have not educated anybody. So now let's now go to the topic that we are looking at today. I want to pick our brain. Dr. Ojo, when you see the irony of deceptive education, what comes to your mind about this subject?
Well, by deceptive, that's going to focusing on the negative side of it, and
Okay.
By irony, of course, you're kind of digging deep into how people have used what's supposed to be positive to bring about the negative. So, like you said, the end state of education, which I strongly agree with, is change of behavior, change of character, right? So now, when that is now diverted, and the change in character is to the negative side, then we can be talking about the irony of deceptive education. It becomes deceptive when the change is not positive, when it's negative.
Oh, wow. I dove my cap for you, sir. So, you have just nailed it, because we looked at this at Cetrus Foundation. We spent some time to really look at the challenge that is going on in the world, and we discovered that a lot of the time we have failed to understand what education really is. So many of us have been carried away with the issue of certificates without certificate. Doctor, I hope you understand that.
Sure.
Okay. But for those that are not African, certificate is the paper qualification. In Africa, when we say certificate is ability to know how to do something pragmatically. Practically. Ability to do something, to be a creator, to bring something out of nowhere into existence. So that part that is missing is what has refused to allow the so-called third world country to be thinking themselves as third world countries. Whereas they have forgotten that there is actually no third world countries, because if all the countries of this world will just sit down and check their education, most of the time, what has limited the whole world, what has limited different world, is based on the irony of the highly consumed false education. A lot of the education we have today has been such that has been bamboozled into turning people into process follower. It's just like you have a process maker. Just follow the process from quality A to quality B to quality C to quality D, and you call it a day. So education is supposed to make the total man to have a change of attitude. The TVs, the internet, they are the means of re-educating people, and they do it subtly. It has changed the lifestyle of people, the mindset of people, subconsciously. And that is where I'm going to come in with a question. Sir, from the story of Michael that I've just mentioned, we can see that within the space of just 6 months, a life has been transformed from beggar of fish to a fish getter himself, a fisherman himself. Because the young man can now make himself happy, can now generate funds all by his hard work into what he has been exposed to. So the question is, let's compare it with somebody that is passing through the so-called formal education and doesn't have the practical and skill in life. Most of the time, they end up as employees of organizations. And if they end up as employees of organization, sorry, I have something to do with my life. I'll just check on that now. So, doctor, are you there with us?
I'm here.
Okay. So, doctor, I want you to tell us
I'm listening. Hello?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. I said I want you to tell us 5 names of the world richest that were employees in any organization.
I have 0.
You said what?
0.
0. Why 0, sir? But they have the best of education.
I haven't seen one yet because most of the world richest people are either businessmen or women, entrepreneur, employer of labor, and not that they don't have education, but they might not be the most educated, and in most cases, some of them probably eventually go back to get more education. It's only on a rare occasion that you will see anyone that will be really very successful, rich, and wealthy that has very high education.
Okay.
Maybe I might be the
So
first.
if that I love that. So if that be the case, can't you see that there is an irony there? That certificate is not actually what the world, especially the third world, needs now. Because China, as at today, they concentrated more on production, more on craft, more on skills, more on little businesses in the corner of rooms here and there. And that has been what has turned them to be world power.
Hello?
So sorry, I never knew my mic was off.
Oh,
I
yeah, you
said, now, how would you advise us to correct this anomaly that we currently have in education? Because since education cannot give us exactly what we needed, how do we go about correcting this anomaly? Because people are not properly educated on what will turn their life around, especially in so many developing countries of the world.
Yeah, so let me share a quick story. Maybe you can get some insight from that. So I decided to go to business school because I was trying to see what it is that they teach them there that is different from the normal education of maybe getting a engineering degree and the rest of them, which I have already. So I decided to do that, and it is really transforming. I think I should have done that. In fact, I asked myself because I remember at some point I was in business. I was in a business class. I mean, commercial class when I was in high school, right? And I was like, no way, I have to be an engineer. That's pretty much what's common in my family. So now at the tail end of it, I realized that those are good. They're great career, right? But when you look at education and when you look at wealth, those are two different things, but they are connected, interconnected at some point, right? So now the bottom line, whether we like it or not, is what you bring to the table, right? In terms of money.
Okay.
That's the bottom line, right? That's what determines what you can do, what you can afford, where you can travel to, what you eat, where you live and stuff like that depend on how much is in your pocket, or how much you have in your bank, or how much money you have, right? So, which is very important, right? And from my personal experience and my research, I realized that the key thing that is most important is what is not focused on, is what uh, has not been disclosed, which is how do we make that wealth? How do we make that money? They don't teach it in school. They don't really teach it even in business school. They just give you the tools. So you have to be the one to be wise, to be able to decode it, to be able to use that to know how to use the tools to get what you need to get. They usually don't teach it, right? But few people have gotten the intelligence to decode that secret of how to make wealth, and they are spread across the globe, and they don't want to share that secret with a lot of people. So now, to correct it, you're asking about how to correct that, right? So how to correct it is, I think it should be an individual thing, and it should start from individual homes. They say charity begins at homes, right? So that would be the first strategy I would give, and that's pretty much what I also mentor all those that I mentor. Like the my philosophy right now, which I'm pursuing, which I've been experimenting for few years, is the reality you want. The reality you want, right? You have to create that reality that you want. You don't wait for nobody. You don't wait to go to any school. You don't wait for no government. You have to create that reality for yourself, by yourself. You have to be intentional about that. And that is, you can link that one to the one of the vision of America, or one of their advice, that you don't think of what America will do for you. You think about what you will do for America, and in turns, you will get what you want. You see what I'm saying? So you have to create your own reality. So that's how to correct it. We have to start from our individual homes, right? From our own children, from this platform like we have right now, Cetro, to let the people know that education is good, right? But in getting education, they only give you like tools, which you have to know how to use to get the wealth that you need to be able to sustain your life. But you can get the wealth without actually going through any kind of formal education, which is common in this part of the world, in the Western nation. You see what I'm saying now? So that's one way I think we can correct it, to educate. It's still going to be education. Our immediate society, our family, our children, our friends, our followers on this platform, about education, the formal education, the informal education, and what is the bottom line of everything, which is how much you bring to the table, and how you get to that can be achieved through many means, not necessarily the formal education, especially if you want to really make a lot of wealth. Formal education might not really help. How? I mean, why? Why is because education takes a lot of time and energy and resources, right? And it's expensive, right? So if you look at me, I've been going to school like pretty much all my life, like 20 some, like going to almost 30 years of education, back to back, non-stop. You see what I'm saying? So now, and that's why I said maybe I'll be one of the first person to break that record, right? Because now when people look at me in my organization, they look at me as a crazy person, right? Because how do you blend being a service member in the military, deployed to combat area in Afghanistan, Kuwait, and the likes of it, work 24 hours a day, go to the field, and you still pursuing doctorate degree? It seems to be really, really hard, right? And it was hard. I can tell you, for many years, there were times that I only have 2 hours of sleep in a day, within 24 hours. That's how crazy it could be. Because if I have to be efficient in my job and still make a good grade in my studies, that's time, right? So that's
You have to
why
go.
education does not really lead to abundance of wealth because of the time it takes. So by the time you get that knowledge and you get that education, you spend so much, you might already incur a lot of debt that you have to pay back with interest. And then by the time, and they don't really teach you what they actually supposed to teach you of how to make money. They only give you tools. You have to be very attentive to now know how to use that tool to get the wealth, right? So by the time you finish and you try to now start doing that practical and experiment, you realize that you're already closer to your grave, right?
Wow.
And things are
Wow.
changing. So, but those that have a good education, good orientation, good mentorship, and know that, okay, they can learn craft or they can learn business, or they understand the concept of trading, they understand the concept of time, and that what you use with time will what determine, how far you go in life. And they start early. You realize that by the time you spend that 30 years of education, they already gotten a lot of wealth that you will not be able to meet up with. But you will be fulfilled, you'll be satisfied, you will be proud of yourself because you are a doctor, or because you understand the society better, you can benefit others, you can do research. But then you might still be dependent on them because now they have what is important, which is money. And you probably will seek them, or they will seek you to give you some money to get your knowledge, or vice versa. But you might not be as rich as them. It's hard still.
Wow. 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 Thank you so very much on this, doctor. And
Yeah.
as you were delivering this powerful lecture, something came to my mind. The African youth that we have been able to gather for some time now, we are trying to organize a training for them, a mentorship training, maybe for some few days this coming week. We wouldn't know if your schedule would accommodate maybe having like an hour, an hour session with us, so that you can. I love the way you put this information out there, because it will be nice for them all over Africa, this youth, to be with you and hear you as a professional in two different fields talk to their knowledge, talk to them, to understand the fact that they should never look down on themselves that they do not have the paper certification, but to understand the fact that they have the manpower that controls the world at the tip of their finger from their creative intuition. Because I tell you, is it to talk of the young boy that can build a complete house on top of the water that we sponsored? Or is it to talk about this boy that I just displayed the work now, that is into photography? You can imagine if that guy actually ends up getting a studio, what he'll be able to create. If he ventures into wildlife photography or event photography, is going to be well known. You understand? So I want these youth. Is it those that have been trained in fashion that can compete within the next few years? Those guys, those youths will be able to compete internationally. So I wouldn't know if it's possible for you to have a timeout, even if it's 30 minutes, even if it is 20 minutes of your time, to just deliver a live stream session with to them while I organize them for you.
Yeah, I'll be willing and very ready to do that. What date and what time is that going to be?
We have this week from Wednesday this week to Friday. So which of the days that can be okay for you, and the timing that is convenient for you, and we'll also work with the African time so that I can really strategize them together.
Yeah, evening. I think if evening might be good after work. If we look like look at 7 p.m. Is that too good or too late? Or 8
Okay,
p.m.?
7 p.m. your time or
We're on the
African
same
time?
time. We're on the same time right now.
Right now?
Yeah, in Germany. So there's
Oh,
daytime whatever adjustment.
okay.
So it's 9:28 right now in Germany. I think it should be 9:28 as well in Nigeria.
Okay. Yes, it's 9:28. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in the same time zone now for now.
Okay. Okay. So you are saying that we can now be 7 p.m.
Yes, if that's
Okay.
okay with you.
Which of the days?
Any of those days fine.
Okay. You know why I'm asking which of the days? Because um there's a particular region where we have about 40, we can have about 40 youths seated to listen to you.
Okay,
Huh?
that's fine.
And that particular region, that particular part is a slum. And 7 p.m. might be so dark for them there might not be light there for them to even be able to access a phone that can take them that
Okay.
long.
So do you want that during the day? Uh what about 11:45, 12 noon?
That would be brilliant if that's convenient for you.
12 noon. Yeah, that's my lunch time, so I can do that. 12 noon to 1300.
Okay, 12 noon to 1300. Okay. I think, so which of the days?
Any of the day is fine.
Any of the days. Okay, so I will get back to you on that because it will be so lovely that they are meeting with you and they are seeing you talk to them to really treasure the life that we've given to them by re-educating them in the informal way, not the usual formal way of just go to classroom, begin to do Pythagoras theorem, find the y, the x, and at the end of the day, I graduated from the university. I have never seen the y, the x in any business transaction. so, so what I found out is that the consumption, when is equal to savings, you are dead.
Yes.
When your consumption is equal to savings, you are dead. So your savings must outweigh, your income must outweigh your consumption so that you can give birth to savings. So those are the principles that people really need, that this youth really need to know, how to get money legitimately and how to have the principle of savings and the like. So I think maybe what we'll do on WhatsApp, we'll just discuss. I would like to know the topic that is convenient for you. Hello, sir. So
Yeah,
that
I'm listening.
you send me the topic, the way you want to structure your topic to discuss with them, so that I can plan out the timetable and get it across to them on time.
Okay.
Because we also got someone from First Bank of Nigeria that will be giving them customer service training, and we're happy that we got it for free. The lady decided to just support the foundation with that, to train these youths on customer service, how to relate with people. Basically because majority of these youths, they are not well educated like that, and they might not know how to approach people, how to talk to people nicely. So we got someone from that aspect. And now that we are getting you, a professional, a doctor in business administration, talking to them on how to, how to understand the fact that their their craft education, their skill acquisition is actually the tool of economic empowerment that cannot be even compared to paper certificates. If paper certificate is not backed up with some of those things that they are doing now, they will be nowhere. Because I can't imagine, as I am now, a professional photographer and videographer, also into fashion, I can't imagine where my life would have been if all I just have is the certificate, certificate from university as an economic statistician. What will I be producing? I'll be probably working in one firm, 9 to 5, 9 to 5, and I get home, I'm exhausted. At the end of the year here, you already know how it runs in Nigeria. But by the time you get to like 55, the companies they will send you packing because they want to get some fresh brain to do their job. So those are stuff that we really need to make people know across the globe. It's not just in Africa now. A lot of persons need to go back to skill, what to do with their hands and be creative, because that is the way forward out of this remote control, via the irony of this education that is not really education, education that is leaving people hanging. So, sir, it's been nice having you. Is there any other points you want us to have from you, sir?
Yeah. Thank you for the time and for your effort. You guys are doing great. We are
Yes,
praying
sir.
for you guys. We are talking to people. People will make their decision at their own time to continue to support the organization. But we are definitely,
Amen.
I'm personally sharing the link, talking to people that you don't even know of. And
Wow.
at some point, those will yield results. So I have no doubt about that. It
Amen.
might take a little bit, but yeah, you guys are doing great. I just want to encourage everybody over there in Nigeria or wherever you may be across the globe that are listening to this live streaming, that it's only you that can stop yourself from achieving the greatness that God has destiny for your life. It's only you that can
Mm,
stop it. No other person,
mm,
no location, no government, no obstacle can stop you. Only you can stop yourself. So if
mm,
you are able to overcome that, you will realize that everything becomes possible regardless of where you are. So that's just what I want to leave us with. And yeah, we can chat offline so I can give you the topic that we can talk to the
okay.
youth about. I think I just wrote something down now. We can talk about that and see how that will, if that will
Oh,
work out. Thank you so much, sir.
okay. Oh, thank you so much, sir. And before we call it a day, hello, sir.
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, before we call it a day, I was trying to share a screen with you. Hopefully, maybe in subsequent stream, I'll be able to share that with you. We've just like we promised ourselves last year that this year we'll be stepping forward into getting a physical location that we can bring these youths together to learn, to train, to train them in numerous crafts, and to also display their products for sales and the likes. We started going out to see if we can get a place. We actually saw a 5 bedroom apartment.
Okay.
We saw a 5 bedroom apartment, a duplex, and it's wonderful when we saw the this thing. So we are still going through, and we are. I'm just trying to look around if I can upload, but I will take care of that in the next stream. I will show us where we've seen. We'll compare places that we've seen, because I believe that if we just sit down and we're saying, "Oh, we are going to achieve this," and we're not working, we are not going out to see this, we will never be motivated to do that. And when we visited that particular location, that we saw those we saw the structures, we saw how everywhere was. It was very, very fantastic that we can now be proud to say that if we can just have something like this, our youth's life will be well transformed. You can imagine where maybe we are training photography, we already have the location inside. So instead of spending money to go and train them in other places, they're actually coming to a particular center for them to be trained. It will do a whole lot. And most of the fact that I'm also into videography and photography, I can also come in there maybe once in a while, give them some more advanced training in photography and videography. Then the fashion aspects we get. so many instructors to teach them, train them. Then we have machines there that they can practicalize. So actually, in a nutshell, what we are working on is a fashion, I say fashion, is a craft hub where carpentry is there, bag making, shoe making, cloth making, tiling is there. So it's just so fabulous. And the space we saw was so good. But when we look at the money we still have with us, we just have to like, okay, let's just let's just be going through and see the one that can work within our budget so that we can plan for it. And we're also trying to we'll be raising fund very soon. We'll be raising fund very soon to get one of those places so that these youth are really what they have been sending in, at least for the last week, for the past week, what they have been sending in has really shown a change of character. A lot of them that are in fashion, they are sending some designs in, and I'm just like, how can they have achieved this within just 2 months? 2 months, somebody's already creating some designs and they are wearing it. I'm now like, by the time we now have this youth for like 6, 9 months, 1 year, that means we are going to be having garment industries. And the way I'm looking at it is that at the end of the day, we might even get to a point that we now begin to call, because all this one I see people calling people, those are abroad, come back home, come back to Nigeria. Come back to come and do what? You understand? Because if they are coming back, they should not come back to come and struggle the little employment space here again. They should come here and create jobs. So
Yeah.
I see it as an opportunity that this youth that we are training, that we are grooming, can now be set up in places. You understand?
Yes.
Producing where outside the country that are coming to invest. You understand? That are coming to invest. The foundation can now help to monitor that investment by putting these youth in charge. At the end of the day, whatever is produced there, the investor gets his own share, the youth gets their own share. Because I don't want any of these youth to end up as employee. That's not our game. We want them to end up as CEOs of brands and the likes. But the investors, those that are willing to invest in them, comes in, invest through the foundation, then we monitor the investment. If it's a garment uh, setup, the youth get their own cut per cloth they make. The person that invests in that youth gets his own percentage per cloth. So at the end of the day, we drive the sales. Everybody is happy. That's how we can get this country and most of African countries out of the challenge they have now. Because the challenge is that we are consuming more than we are producing. And that in economics is called deficit of balance of payment. So I just thought I should just bring up that to let you know, sir, so that you can be thinking alongside with us, and we know that the best is yet to come. So with that being said, you want to say something?
No, I said amen.
Okay. Okay. So with that being said, we'll just sign up right now and say thank you very much, Dr. Ojo, for joining us today. We are so glad and happy. So everyone that will be seeing this video, this stream later on, kindly subscribe and share. I think somebody is greeting Dr. Ojo here. Redmond is saying thank you, Dr. Ojo.
You're
I
welcome.
mean,
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
he really enjoyed this. Okay.
Thank you so
So
much.
that's Dr. Ojo. We meet next week, whereas we'll chat before Tuesday. We should chat and iron out our plan for the youth. We are so grateful. Thanks for the night.
You're welcome,
Bye
sir.
bye. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.